everyone today to the 28th commencement exercises for Parker College of Chiropractic. Our graduates today come from all corners of the world, and we have visitors with us to experience this momentous occasion from all corners of the world. When you came into this assembly hall today, you perhaps noticed all of the flags. Those flags represent the countries that are represented at the Parker College of Chiropractic. And as you peruse your program, next to the graduates, we have identified their country so that you can see, yes, the representation is true, and yes, one of the missions of the institution, to be worldwide, is finally being achieved. Today we have 117 proud graduates that will join the ranks of Parker College graduates in the profession, making our total number 1,361 strong. The accomplishments of the institution and the accomplishments of our graduates could not be experienced without the efforts of our faculty. Dedicated men and women who give of their time, their energies, and their efforts so that you, the graduates, can go out and provide primary and quality health care in a chiropractic way. I would like to take this opportunity to have our faculty stand and please receive their just acknowledgement. Faculty.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the graduating class, I would like to welcome Dr. Parker, our esteemed faculty, the administration, and especially our friends and family. What 3 years ago seemed only to be a dream is now reality. We are doctors, and not only doctors, but healers. Today, we're here to celebrate this achievement and anticipate our upcoming success. Success will be obtained on several levels throughout our careers. We must strive for success as a profession, in our individual practices, and in our personal lives. Presently, we are the second largest healing art in the world. In order to have continued success in the chiropractic profession, we must come together as a united force, not against medicine, but for chiropractic. We as chiropractors need to stop criticizing the methodologies by which we all obtain a common goal. Regardless of the method, our goal is to help the human body restore itself to optimum health without the use of drugs or surgery. As a class, we have all taken the exact same curriculum, yet we've all chosen individual techniques and formed personal ideas on how we treat patients. During our education, we were eager to learn and share new ideas with each other. And we respected each other's ideas even if they were different than our own. This attitude should not stop at the educational level, but should be carried out into our profession. With this unitedness, we can attempt to bridge the gap between the methodologies. And then, and only then, will we move forward as a chiropractic whole in the world of healthcare. To obtain success in our individual practices, we must reposition how people view healthcare. We live in a society that has been programmed to believe the myth that you're healthy once your symptoms are gone. For example, we take an aspirin for a headache or some Pepto-Bismol for stomach discomfort. This sickness approach to healthcare has resulted in a generation of people suffering from illnesses that are often covered up and not detected until late in their course, when they can be deadly, like cancer and heart disease. In order to change patients' viewpoints, we must continually educate on the benefits of wellness care, lifetime care, proper diet, and exercise. Not everyone will be open to this new approach to health care, but those who are will be our true successes, and they will help educate others. Changing the viewpoint of people will not occur overnight or by some huge marketing scam, but in each of our offices, one patient at a time. Personal success will be different for all of us. Remember to judge your success by the relationships in your life rather than the possessions you've acquired. It is very important to dream big because you cannot achieve what you cannot imagine. Success does not come easy. You must be willing to dedicate your life to your dream and work hard and go after them. When you reflect back on your life, you will never regret the things you did as much as the things you had a chance to do and didn't. So think big, but cherish the small pleasures. The successful completion of our education is a major milestone towards our dream. We can now look forward to tomorrow's challenges and strive not only to be the best physicians we can be, but to work together to become a more united profession. In closing, on behalf of the graduating class, I would like to thank the faculty for the knowledge they have imparted upon us and for the time they've spent molding and refining us into competent physicians. I would also like to thank our friends and family, for without them, none of us would be here today. Personally, I would like to thank my parents for introducing me to chiropractic, instilling in me the belief that I can achieve anything, and for their unconditional love and support. Most of all, I'd like to thank my husband, Tim, who has been by my side throughout my education. He had to pack up, move across country, leaving family and friends, and often had to take a back seat in order to support my dream. I will be forever indebted to him for his never-ending love and support. Thank you.
Dr. Stern and Dr. Bright for providing the opportunity and providing the leadership necessary to conduct the affairs of Parker College. I'd also like to thank Dr. Linda Rhodes and the AV department for their assistance in preparing this preparation of this presentation. I would also like to especially thank Dr. Parker for his vision and persistence. Much better. Romans chapter 5 talks about tribulations and the fact that tribulations build character. Dr. Parker's overcome great trials and tribulations to get us where we are today, and we all know he's a character. As I contemplated what to talk about today, many things came to my mind. I thought about the Clinton healthcare plan, healthcare in the year 2000, practice management, how to run an office. I thought about chiropractic in the next century. I thought about research and how research will affect chiropractic. I thought about telling you how to get a bank loan so you can pay your parents back all the money you borrowed from them. I thought about telling you how to start a small business. We could have a quick review of A&P and a quick pot, yes, give them a 10 and pass them in, you know. We could talk about the applications of chiropractic in the field of veterinary medicine. We could talk about the chiropractic centennial celebration. But I decided you've heard enough of most of these topics since you've been here, so I decided to reminisce, to go back to the early days of Parker College, back to the days of yesteryear. Back in 1980, is this going to work, James? There we go. Back in 1980, Dr. Parker had a vision to build a college. He searched for the perfect spot and found an old church in Irving, Texas. In 1982, the ribbon was cut to open the Parker College of Chiropractic, dedicated to the promotion of health through chiropractic. And I remember this mural of the old school. Dr. Parker immediately went to work and hired Dr. Ted Morter to serve as the first president for Parker College of Chiropractic. One of the first orders of business was to find Dr. Morter an office. So Dr. Parker searched around the new campus, and after consulting with the faculty at that time, he settled on the perfect spot. I would like for Dr. Stern to notice that in this picture, please, is conclusive evidence that the bike club, not the scuba club, was the first club on campus. I first came to Parker College in the summer of 1983. One afternoon, I received a phone call from a gentleman named Dr. Carl Saubert. He was the first academic dean here, and he asked me in for an interview to teach at this new school. Dr. Saubert and Dr. Ted Morter Actually, had these two gentlemen to thank, Dr. Saubert and Dr. Moore, for me being here today. They hired me, so they're the one reason I'm here. During my interview, Dr. Moore explained the philosophy of chiropractic to me. He said that the chiropractor believes that disease results from some type of interference to the nervous system. And for the first time in my career, I was introduced to a discipline which attempted to address the underlying cause of disease. Chiropractic said that there was interference to nerve supply, that the tissue would not function 100%, and therefore would be more susceptible to disease. It made sense. I already knew if vascular supply was disrupted to a tissue, then the tissue would fail to thrive, but I never really stopped and thought about the nerve supply and the ramifications therein. I was intrigued with this concept, and I came to work here at Parker College. 27 students made up that charter class. Now, in those days, Dr. Parker spent a lot of time talking to the students and reassuring them that they had faith, confidence, and belief everything was going to be okay. Few people realize the courage these charter students had in coming to school here. Classrooms were small, quarters were a bit cramped. Classes were literally designed a trimester at a time. The college was not accredited, and there was no way of knowing if the college could achieve accreditation before they graduated. This means they could spend their 3 years of their lives and thousands of dollars of their money and have a degree they couldn't do anything with. They could not get licensed in the 50 states. In 1985, the college sent a team consisting of myself, Dr. Saubert, Dr. Maury Music, and Dr. Parker to New Orleans to meet with the Council of Chiropractic Education. By the way, Dr. Stern was on that board at that time. All the school held their breath while we waited for the results of that meeting. We received provisional accreditation status in 1985 and full accreditation in 1988. This was a record. No school had ever come from rags to riches in such a short period of time. In January of 1987, we were awarded accreditation by the Southern Association of Colleges, meaning we were on the same playing field with the big boys like TU, Texas A&M, and SMU. Back in 1982, we had 4 faculty members. Here's a picture of Dr. Robert Brown, who was one of the original faculty members, stuffing his face out when the homecoming's out behind the school. When I came on board in 1983, I was the 5th faculty member. In 1989, we moved to the new campus. We had grown to 38 faculty members, and today, in 1984, we have over 100 faculty members and a staff of 150 strong. The early days were rough. As dean of students, I prepared for the first graduating class kind of by trial and error. Many of the traditions and much of the pomp and ceremonies you see here today was begun during that graduation, during those early years. We held the first graduation in the auditorium of the church. But even though conditions were not ideal, Dr. Parker still did things first rate. We had quality speakers in those days. Dr. Stern explained the hood as he does today, and he'll do that in a moment. And Dr. Pat Coelho administered the chiropractic oath. After we received accreditation, the school began to grow at a phenomenal rate. We have grown from a student enrollment of 27 to well over 1,200 students in 10 short years. This is an almost unbelievable event. The entering class in 1982 was 27 students. The entering class at fall 1993, which is our biggest class, was 225 students. All sorts of talent began to come to the school in those days, so we decided to have a talent show to show off this talent. The first talent show was held back in 1985. This event is still held in February in this auditorium. In those days, Dr. Stern, as today, was concerned and exasperated with the students' behavior. Now here's Dr. Parker telling Dr. Stern, Leo, I don't care what he calls you, go back to work. The Director of Business Affairs, Dr. Maury Music, conducted all the student registration, the payment of tuition, and the disbursement of student loans was in the old auditorium. We didn't have a bookstore back then. Now we have a bookstore.
Todd Tyler Eidt. Aaron Maheen.
Pull this down to Texas size. It's me again. I'm supposed to give you a charge. Have we charged enough? I think that's a good idea. Couldn't we have a couple of $1,000 extra charge just for good nature? Gee, you're gonna leave us. Is this the group that gave us so much trouble? I wasn't the group that gave us so much trouble, was it? Okay, I'll love you then. I'm not supposed to love you for what you do, but who you are. I do have a couple of things to say to not only the graduates, but probably more especially to those of you who are the fathers and mothers, the brothers and sisters, grandparents, and the children. And that primarily is to make sure that you in the audience understand that this relative of yours now, if the relative he or she is a doctor. When you get a sore toe or something, you ask him or her what to do from now on. First of all, it'll be free. Because he is a physician in the most natural sense of the word. Physician is a healer, and this institution tries to go beyond making doctors out of our students, but healers. We try to keep up with everything that's going on for the benefit of our students because we live in a world of changing practices, of unchanging principles. We started off in the basic sciences, and for a year they learned the body and how it works. We have lots of names for that: anatomy, physiology, pathology, chemistry, and all sorts of titles, but all of it amounts to knowing the body and how it works. Then we begin to teach them not only how it works, but how it doesn't work, and why it doesn't work, and that is in the next year during their chiropractic sciences. You know, there's two different methods, major methods. One is mechanistic, which is done by the medical doctor. A good job, the greatest in the world in America, but different. Because chiropractic is vitalistic. It is holistic. And so in the chiropractic sciences, we begin to teach them in this second year of their education here that form of care of the human body. We hopefully taught them to treat the body, not the part, to treat for health, not disease, to look at the human being as a whole, because when the body is well, all the parts are well. This is the difference between mechanistic and vitalistic care in health. Both are beneficial, both are worthy, both save lives. Now, in the final year, each of these students learned how to apply what they had learned in the previous 3,500 hours to patients. This is the cutting edge, the hands-on edge of their education. You observed the various awards that many got from all three of these categories, all three of which are valuable. You have no doubt been around now and have noticed that we have about 60,000 square feet of student public clinics and a new rehabilitation lab. First in chiropractic education, and one which we think is a coming thing, and we try to stay up with what's confronting us in the 21st century. We have tried to teach these students more than that. we tried to teach them that the body is more than the sum of its parts, that life is more than molecules, that seeing flowers in winter is happiness, that we be torchbearers, not pallbearers, in thinking and feeling and in life. Like a dear, loving human being in my life, she was telling me that when she graduated, they said upward ever and backward never. And I said, why have you been keeping me from this valuable knowledge? Because it fits in precisely with what you have experienced and what you have been taught and what you now must do on your own. Regardless of where you may end up right now today, you have to take the position, whether you're in debt or not. I don't guess there's many questions about any of that. Whether you made just passing grades and barely got out, maybe delayed a trimester or two and failed a course here and there, you are now where God has planted you. So you begin to grow from where you are. I want you to take on an image today. I want you to take on a goal. I want you to say to yourself that I do not want the world or God to be ashamed of me when I die. Therefore, I'm not going to do so until I do something for mankind that will outlive me. Now, Hippocrates, who is more the father of chiropractic than medicine, because he used to battle out mechanism and vitalism with a fellow by the name of Democritus. One said the human body had a vitalistic spark that kept it alive, Hippocrates did, and Democritus said no, it is a basic machine, and we can study it as life went on as a linear subject and as a mechanistic subject. I want you to take that Hippocratic reality that there is a spark of life in the human being and that you as a doctor are going to go out and be the helper, not the healer. Now what that means is that you're going to be the servant, not the master. Because that's the distinct difference. You know, in this country, we need and have a big job for you waiting. Because in this country, we are 19th in infant mortality. There's been some publicity recently about whether chiropractors should adjust children. That makes me have gall because it is such an asinine posture for any human being to take. So we are 19th in infant mortality. Can you imagine that? With the best health care system, the best health care material and provisions in this country, and we are 19th. Why? I say it is because mechanistic, not vitalistic care is first provided for the human being. Our life expectancy is in the lower third behind such countries as Iceland, Italy, Greece. The cancer, since they started the war on it over about a quarter of a century ago in 1970, the war on cancer the death rate has increased 7%.
These assembled witnesses. That I will keep this oath and stipulation. To hold in esteem and respect those who taught me this chiropractic healing art. To follow the methods of treatment which, according to my ability and judgment, I consider for the benefit of my patients. To abstain from whatever is deleterious and unethical. To stand ready at all times. To serve my fellow man without distinction of race, creed, or color. With purity I will pass my life and practice my art. I will at all times consider the patients under my care as of supreme importance. I will not spare myself in rendering them the help which I have been taught to give by my alma mater. I will keep inviolate all things revealed to me as a physician, while I continue to keep this oath unviolated. May it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the chiropractic healing art, respected by all men at all times. Doctors of chiropractic, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations.
Really have to pull away from the ground.
I did it.
Can I get the three guys together? Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, come on. In. Here's the face.
He's on the hot.